Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm so grateful you have joined me today, and I can't wait to dive into something that has the power to change your life. Life is a journey filled with seasons, and there are moments when you sense a shift in the atmosphere. You may not be able to explain it, but deep within, you know something is changing. You feel the stretching, the breaking, and even the shaking. But I want to tell you today, if you are experiencing this, do not be discouraged. It means God is about to give you something big. When God is preparing to elevate you, the first thing you will notice is resistance. Suddenly, everything seems harder. The battles you never had to fight before will show up at your doorstep. People who once supported you may turn against you. Opportunities that seemed certain may fall apart. And in those moments, you may wonder, God, where are you? But let me remind you, opposition is a sign of transition. No great destiny comes without a fight. The enemy does not attack what is not valuable. If you are facing unusual resistance, it is because you are on the verge of something extraordinary. Then there are the delays. You have prayed, you have believed, and you have done everything right, but nothing seems to be happening. You start to question if God has forgotten you. But listen carefully, delay is not denial. It is divine preparation. God does not give you a blessing you are not ready for. He is strengthening you in the waiting so that when the breakthrough comes, you can carry it with wisdom and grace. Another sign is the sudden closing of doors. You were sure that relationship was going to last. You were convinced that job was your future. You had plans, dreams, and expectations, but then doors slammed shut, and it hurts. But do not cry over closed doors, because every closed door is a setup for the right one to open. When God is shifting you to a higher place, He removes the distractions and aligns your steps with His perfect will. There is also an inner stirring, a restlessness in your spirit. The place where you once felt comfortable now feels too small. The job you once loved no longer excites you. The city you once called home no longer feels like home. Why? Because your spirit is preparing for the next level. When a bird is ready to fly, the nest becomes uncomfortable. So do not resist the discomfort, embrace it. It is God's way of pushing you forward. But here is something else that happens. People start leaving. Friends, relationships, and connections you thought were permanent start fading away. And it is painful because some of them have been with you for years. But understand this, not everyone can go where you are going. God removes people who cannot handle your next level. Stop trying to hold on to what He is calling you to let go of. And then comes a test of faith. God may ask you to step out into the unknown. He may ask you to do something that makes no sense to the natural mind. He may require you to walk by faith, not by sight. This is where many people turn back because they want to see the full picture before they move. But faith does not work that way. If you are waiting to have all the answers before you obey, you will never move. Sometimes the miracle only happens after you take the first step. Finally, when God is about to give you something big, you will start seeing divine confirmations. You will hear the same message repeatedly from different people. You will receive unexpected encouragement from unlikely places. You will have dreams, visions, or an unshakable sense that something great is on the horizon. And when that happens, do not ignore it. God is speaking. So if you are in a season where everything seems uncertain, hold on. Do not be discouraged by the resistance, the delays, or the losses. Do not be afraid of the unknown. Because the very things that look like obstacles are actually signs that God is about to release something greater than you have ever imagined. When God is about to give you something big, one of the first things you will experience is increased resistance and opposition. Everything that once seemed to flow smoothly may suddenly become difficult. Challenges that never existed before begin to appear, and the road ahead feels more like a battlefield than a journey of progress. This is not a coincidence. It is a sign that you are stepping into something greater. The enemy does not attack what is not a threat. If your life is under pressure, it means there is something valuable inside you that is about to be revealed. People around you may begin to change. Friends who once supported you may start questioning your decisions. Some may even turn against you without explanation. This is because elevation brings separation. Not everyone can handle where you are going. When you start moving towards your destiny, those who are not meant to go with you will resist your progress. You may feel betrayed, misunderstood, or even abandoned, but do not allow this to break you. The resistance is not a sign of failure. It is proof that you are advancing towards something significant. Opportunities that once seemed guaranteed may suddenly close. You apply for jobs that do not respond, business deals fall through, and doors that look wide open slam shut. This is when frustration tries to creep in, making you question whether you are on the right path. But in reality, opposition is often a confirmation. If you were not on the verge of something powerful, you would not face such intense resistance. Even within yourself, you may experience an internal battle. Doubt, fear, and insecurity try to whisper that you are not capable, that you should give up. The greater the calling, the greater the opposition. The pressure is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to prepare you for what is coming. When God is about to give you something big, you will often experience unusual delays and prolonged waiting seasons. It feels like time is standing still, and no matter how hard you try, nothing seems to move forward. You pray, you plan, you put in the effort, yet the breakthrough remains just out of reach. This can be frustrating because in your mind you are ready. But God's timing is not like yours. He does not operate on human schedules. When He's preparing to bless you with something great, He first prepares you to handle it. Waiting is never easy, especially when you see others moving forward while you remain stuck in the same place. You may start questioning whether you have missed your opportunity or if God has forgotten about you. But delays are not denials. They are divine setups for something greater than what you expected. During this time, God is working behind the scenes, arranging things in your favor, even when you cannot see it. A waiting season is a season of refinement. It is where your patience is tested, your character is shaped, and your faith is strengthened. You may feel like you are ready to receive what you have been praying for, but God sees the areas that still need development. He does not just want to bless you, He wants to ensure that the blessing does not destroy you. Sometimes the reason for the delay is that the weight of what is coming is too great for the current version of you to carry. Doors that remain closed are often a sign that God is protecting you from stepping into something prematurely. The waiting season is not about punishment, it is about preparation. The longer the wait, the greater the blessing. When God is about to give you something big, you will experience doors closing unexpectedly. Opportunities you were certain about will suddenly disappear. Relationships you thought would last forever will come to an abrupt end. Plans that seemed perfectly aligned will fall apart without warning. And in those moments, confusion sets in. You begin to wonder if you did something wrong, if you missed a sign, or if you are being punished. But what looks like rejection is often divine redirection. Every closed door is God's way of steering you towards something better, something you cannot yet see. It is painful when something you invested time, energy, and emotion into is taken away. You may have been convinced that a certain job, relationship, or opportunity was part of your destiny. But God, in His wisdom, knows what is ahead. He sees the obstacles, the hidden dangers, and the things that would ultimately harm you. When He shuts a door, it is not because He wants to hurt you, it is because He is protecting you. What you think is a loss is actually a rescue. One of the hardest things to do is to trust God when you do not understand what He is doing. You may pray for clarity, but instead more doors close. This is where faith is tested. If you truly believe that God's plans are greater than yours, you must also trust that closed doors are a part of His process. The worst mistake you can make is trying to force open what He has shut. Closed doors are not the end of your journey. They are the redirection to something greater. When one door closes, it is because a better one is about to open. The challenge is not to focus on what is lost, but to prepare for what is coming. When God is about to give you something big, you will experience a deep inner restlessness. You may not be able to explain it, but something inside you feels unsettled. The things that once brought you joy no longer satisfy you. The place where you once felt comfortable now feels too small. You may wake up in the morning with a strange sense that something is missing, even when everything in your life seems fine on the surface. This is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a sign that God is shifting you. Restlessness is a divine indicator that you have outgrown your current season. When a bird is ready to fly, the nest becomes uncomfortable. God will stir your spirit in ways that make it impossible to stay where you are. You may feel disconnected from certain people, activities, or even environments that once felt like home. You try to force yourself to be content, but something inside you keeps whispering, there is more. This is God's way of preparing you for transition. This inner stirring often comes before a major breakthrough. It is a sign that your spirit is recognizing what your mind has not yet understood. Your current situation is no longer aligned with where God is taking you. But this is where many people miss their moment. Instead of embracing the restlessness, they fight it. They try to hold on to what God is trying to move them away from. When you feel this deep internal shift, do not ignore it. When God is about to give you something big, you will experience the sudden loss of people and relationships. Individuals who were once close to you will start drifting away. Friendships that felt unbreakable will suddenly weaken. People who once supported you will become distant, and some may even turn against you. This can be painful, confusing, and heartbreaking. You may wonder what went wrong, but the truth is, nothing went wrong. Something is going right. God is making room for the next season of your life. Not everyone is meant to go where God is taking you. Some people were only assigned to a previous chapter of your journey, not the full story. When God is preparing you for something greater, He starts to remove those who cannot handle the weight of your next level. Some people are holding you back without you even realizing it. They may be comfortable with the old version of you, but they are not ready for the person you are becoming. If they stayed, they would only slow you down, distract you, or discourage you from stepping fully into your purpose. Losing people unexpectedly can make you feel isolated, but do not chase after what God is removing. If someone is meant to be in your life, no force can take them away. If someone is not meant to stay, no amount of effort can keep them. Sometimes God allows separation to protect you from relationships that would have become toxic in the future. It is natural to grieve the loss, but do not let it keep you stuck. Instead of focusing on who left, focus on what is coming. God never takes something away without replacing it with something better. The people He removes are making space for the right ones to enter. Let them go and trust that what is ahead is greater than what is behind. When God is about to give you something big, you will go through a test of faith and obedience. You will find yourself in situations where you have to trust God without seeing the full picture. He will ask you to step out into the unknown, to move in a direction that does not make sense to your natural mind. This is where many people hesitate, because faith requires movement before manifestation. If you are waiting to have all the answers before you obey, you will never move. God often tests faith by removing comfort. He may ask you to leave a secure job and a familiar relationship, or take on an assignment that feels beyond your ability. At first, fear will try to convince you that you are making a mistake. The voices of doubt will whisper, "What if this does not work?" But faith is not about certainty, it is about trust. It is believing that if God called you, He has already provided everything you need for the journey. Obedience is not always easy because it requires surrender. God will ask you to give up things that you thought you needed. He may tell you to walk away from opportunities that look promising because He has something better. The test is whether you trust His plan over your own desires. Many people delay their breakthrough because they refuse to let go of what feels safe. But obedience is the key that unlocks the next level. Every great move of God in Scripture was preceded by a test of obedience. Abraham had to leave his homeland before becoming the father of nations. Peter had to step out of the boat before walking on water. If you are being tested right now, it means God is preparing you for something greater. The question is, will you trust Him enough to obey? When God is about to give you something big, you will experience an overflow of divine confirmation. You will start noticing repeated signs, messages, and revelations that align with what God is preparing for you. These confirmations may come through Scripture, dreams, sermons, unexpected conversations, or even complete strangers. It will feel as if God is speaking directly to you from multiple directions, reinforcing the same message over and over again. This is not a coincidence, it is divine assurance that you are on the right path. One of the ways God confirms His plans is by giving you an unshakable inner conviction. Even when circumstances seem uncertain, something deep inside you knows that a shift is coming. Doubt may try to creep in, but the confirmations keep showing up, reminding you that God is in control. You may find yourself hearing the same verse repeatedly, stumbling upon messages that answer your deepest questions, or feeling an unusual sense of peace about a major decision. Divine confirmation also comes through people. Someone may speak life into you without even knowing your situation. You may receive encouragement at the exact moment you were about to give up. Doors will begin to open in ways that do not make logical sense, and the right connections will appear just when you need them. These moments are not random. They are orchestrated by God to remind you that He is leading your steps. God knows that the journey towards something great is filled with uncertainty, so He provides confirmation as a way to strengthen your faith. But when you start seeing these repeated signs, do not ignore them. Pay attention to what God is revealing and trust that He is guiding you towards something greater than you can imagine. When God is about to give you something big, everything around you will shift. You will face resistance, endure delays, lose people, and be tested in ways that stretch your faith. Doors will close unexpectedly. Restlessness will stir within you. And yet, in the midst of it all, divine confirmations will appear to remind you that He is in control. These are not signs of failure, they are signs of elevation. The greater the blessing, the greater the preparation. What feels like chaos is actually alignment. What seems like rejection is redirection. What appears to be loss is God making room for more. Do not be discouraged by the challenges, and do not let fear stop you from moving forward. Trust that everything happening in your life is leading you to something greater. God does not prepare small things for those He has called. He prepares extraordinary things. If you are experiencing these signs, it is because He is positioning you for a breakthrough that will exceed your expectations. Stay obedient, stay faithful, stay ready. What is coming will be worth every test, every trial, and every tear. Keep walking. You are closer than you think. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm so grateful you have joined me today, and I can't wait to dive into something that has the power to change your life. There is a difference between a woman who simply exists and a woman who walks in divine blessing. A blessed woman is not defined by wealth, fame, or status. She is defined by the mark of God's hand on her life. She moves differently, thinks differently, and carries herself with the confidence of one who knows she is chosen. When a woman is blessed by God, wisdom is her crown. She does not make reckless decisions or move without purpose. She seeks knowledge, listens before she speaks, and allows her steps to be ordered by God. This wisdom sets her apart because she does not lean on her own understanding. She trusts in the Lord. A blessed woman is a pillar of strength and peace. Even when chaos surrounds her, she remains steady because her faith is unshakable. She does not panic when challenges arise because she knows the one who holds her future. People look at her and wonder, how does she remain so calm? It is because she is anchored in something greater than herself. You can recognize a blessed woman by her character. She does not gossip, tear others down, or hold grudges. She operates with grace, kindness, and patience. She does not allow bitterness to take root in her heart because she understands that love is her greatest weapon. Her presence alone shifts the atmosphere because she carries the light of God wherever she goes. Life has not been easy for her, but she does not let trials define her. Instead, they refine her. She has faced rejection, betrayal, and loss, yet she stands taller after every battle. What was meant to break her only built her. She carries her scars with dignity because they are proof that she has overcome by the grace of God. A blessed woman does not chase after opportunities, opportunities chase after her. She finds favor in unexpected places and doors open for her that others struggle to unlock. It is not luck, it is divine alignment. She understands that God is her provider, and even in seasons of lack, she does not worry because she knows she is never truly without. Look around her and you will see a trail of people she has inspired. She is a voice of encouragement, a source of wisdom, and a mentor to many. People seek her advice, not because she has all the answers, but because she carries a spirit of truth. She does not compete with others, she lifts them up. She does not tear others down, she builds them. Above all, a woman blessed by God knows she is created for something greater. She does not settle for mediocrity because she understands her worth. She is not distracted by temporary things because she is focused on eternal purpose. Every step she takes is intentional. Every decision she makes is aligned with her destiny. And she refuses to live beneath her calling. A woman who is blessed by God carries divine wisdom, and this wisdom is not the result of mere intellect or experience alone. It is a gift from above. She does not make hasty decisions or move impulsively because she understands the weight of her choices. Every step she takes is guided by discernment, allowing her to navigate life with clarity and purpose. She knows when to speak and when to remain silent, when to act and when to wait. Her wisdom is not loud or boastful, but it is evident in how she carries herself and the peace she exudes in every situation. She is not easily swayed by emotions, trends, or the opinions of others. Instead, she grounds herself in truth and seeks divine guidance before making decisions. This makes her a woman of stability, one who does not waver in the face of uncertainty. She knows that wisdom is more valuable than silver or gold, so she prioritizes understanding above material gain. Rather than relying on her own knowledge, she seeks counsel from those who are seasoned in faith and life, knowing that wisdom multiplies when shared. Her words carry weight because they come from a place of deep insight. When she speaks, people listen, not because she demands attention, but because what she says carries power. She does not engage in fruitless conversations or waste energy on matters that do not align with her purpose. Instead, she uses her words to uplift, to instruct, and to bring clarity where there is confusion. Those around her seek her counsel, knowing that she does not offer advice based on emotions but on divine principles. She understands that wisdom is not just about knowing the right things, but also about applying knowledge with discernment and grace. A woman blessed by God carries an unshakable peace and an inner strength that cannot be explained by human reasoning. She is not exempt from challenges, but the way she handles them sets her apart. While others may crumble under pressure, she stands firm because her foundation is built on faith, not fear. She understands that peace is not the absence of trouble, but the presence of God in the midst of it. No matter the chaos surrounding her, she remains steady, knowing that she is held by a force greater than anything she faces. Her peace is not dependent on circumstances. Whether she has much or little, whether she is applauded or criticized, whether doors open or close, she does not allow external situations to dictate her inner state. She has learned the secret of contentment, trusting that everything is working for her good. This is why she does not rush decisions or panic under pressure. She understands that fear leads to failure, but faith produces fruit. When storms come, she does not run, she stands. She does not react out of anxiety, she responds with wisdom. Her strength is not in her physical abilities, but in the resilience of her spirit. She has faced disappointments, heartbreaks, and losses, yet she refuses to be defined by them. She does not waste time seeking revenge or dwelling on what could have been. Instead, she focuses on what is ahead, using every setback as a lesson and every pain as fuel for growth. Her presence alone brings a sense of calm to those around her. When others are anxious, she reassures them. When others feel lost, she provides clarity. She carries a peace that commands attention and a strength that inspires everyone she encounters. A woman blessed by God does not chase opportunities, they find her. Doors open for her in ways she cannot always explain, and favor follows her wherever she goes. Even in situations where others struggle, she moves forward with ease, not because she is lucky, but because she is aligned with a higher plan. What seems impossible for many becomes possible for her because she walks in divine timing. She does not force her way into places she is not meant to be. Instead, she trusts that the right doors will open at the right time. There are moments when she does not even realize how things are working in her favor. People speak on her behalf in rooms she has never entered. Opportunities come her way without her asking, and solutions present themselves before she even knows there is a problem. She has learned that when she seeks first the kingdom of God, everything else is added to her life. This is why she does not waste time striving for approval or competing for positions. She knows that what is meant for her will not pass her by. Even in seasons of delay, she remains patient, understanding that every closed door is a form of divine protection. She does not complain when things do not go as planned because she trusts that every redirection is leading her to something greater. What others chase after, she attracts effortlessly because she carries an unseen mark of favor. Whether it is in her career, relationships, or personal growth, God orchestrates her steps in ways beyond human understanding. When she walks into a room, people take notice not because she demands attention, but because the presence of God in her life speaks louder than words. A woman blessed by God does not escape trials, but she endures them with grace. She understands that difficulties are not meant to destroy her, but to develop her. While others may see challenges as setbacks, she sees them as opportunities for growth. She does not ask, why is this happening to me? But instead, what is this teaching me? Her perspective allows her to rise above circumstances that would break others. She knows that storms are temporary, but the strength she gains from them lasts a lifetime. She does not crumble under pressure or allow hardships to define her. Instead, she uses every trial as a stepping stone to something greater. When she is betrayed, she does not become bitter. When she faces rejection, she does not lose confidence. When life does not go as planned, she does not give up. She has learned that endurance is not about avoiding pain, but about standing firm in the midst of it. Her faith is not shaken by adversity, it is strengthened by it. She walks through challenges with a quiet confidence, knowing that she is never alone. Even when she is weary, she keeps going. Even when she does not understand, she trusts the process. She does not complain or seek pity. Instead, she focuses on solutions and keeps her eyes on the bigger picture. People look at her and wonder how she remains so strong. But her strength is not her own. It is drawn from the one who sustains her. She does not allow trials to steal her joy, break her spirit, or cause her to question her worth. Instead, she emerges from every hardship wiser, stronger, and more prepared for the purpose she was created to fulfill. A woman blessed by God does not have to force her way into opportunities. Doors open for her in ways she never expected. While others may struggle and strive, she moves forward with divine favor, not because she is better or more qualified, but because she is positioned by God for the right moments. She understands that her success is not based on human connections alone, but on the unseen hand of God orchestrating things behind the scenes. There are times when she is not even looking for opportunities, yet they find her. She does not chase after success, it is drawn to her. People speak highly of her when she is not in the room. Recommendations come without her asking, and resources flow into her life effortlessly. She does not have to manipulate situations or compromise her values to get ahead, because God goes before her, preparing the way. What seems impossible for others happens naturally for her, not because she is lucky, but because she walks in alignment with her purpose. She has faced rejection before, but now she understands that every closed door was a blessing in disguise. What once seemed like a disappointment was actually divine protection, keeping her from settling for less than what was meant for her. She has learned that patience is key, because when God opens a door, no one can shut it. She does not panic when things don't go as planned, because she trusts that something greater is always unfolding. Even in seasons of waiting, she remains confident, knowing that God's timing is perfect. She does not rush into things out of fear or desperation, but she moves with wisdom and discernment. And when the right doors open, she steps through them boldly, knowing they were made just for her. A woman blessed by God carries an undeniable presence that inspires and uplifts everyone she encounters. She does not seek attention or validation, yet people are drawn to her wisdom, kindness, and unwavering faith. Her life is a living testimony of resilience, grace, and divine purpose. She does not just speak words of encouragement, she embodies them. When she enters a room, she brings an atmosphere of hope, reminding others that they are capable of rising above their struggles. She uplifts others not by mere words, but by the way she lives. Her strength in adversity teaches others that trials are not the end, but a stepping stone to something greater. She does not hide her scars. Instead, she uses them to show others that healing is possible. She is transparent about her journey, not for sympathy, but to demonstrate the power of faith and perseverance. People leave her presence feeling empowered, knowing that if she can overcome, so can they. She does not compete with other women. She lifts them up. She does not gossip or tear others down, but instead she speaks words of life, encouragement, and wisdom. She celebrates the success of others as if it were her own, knowing that there is room for everyone to shine. She sees potential in people before they see it in themselves and challenges them to step into their greatness. Her influence is not loud, yet it is powerful. She does not need a stage to make an impact. Her everyday actions speak volumes. Whether through a kind word, a helping hand, or a simple gesture of love, she leaves people better than she found them. She understands that her purpose is not just to rise, but to help others rise with her. A woman blessed by God does not wander aimlessly through life. She walks with intention, knowing she was created for something greater. She is not easily distracted by temporary pleasures or meaningless pursuits because she understands her purpose. Every decision she makes, every step she takes is aligned with the destiny God has placed before her. She does not settle for mediocrity because she knows she was designed for excellence. She does not waste time comparing herself to others or trying to fit into a mold that society has created. Instead, she embraces her uniqueness, knowing that her gifts, talents, and experiences were given to her for a reason. She refuses to live beneath her calling, and she does not let fear hold her back from stepping into new opportunities. She understands that purpose is not just about personal success, it is about making an impact. She does not chase after titles or recognition, but she walks boldly in the assignment given to her, trusting that God will use her in ways she never imagined. She is not afraid of challenges because she knows that every obstacle is preparing her for something greater. She does not complain when things do not go as planned because she understands that delays are often divine redirections. Even in seasons of waiting, she remains steadfast, knowing that her purpose is unfolding in perfect timing. She does not rush ahead or try to control everything. She moves in alignment with God's will. People look at her and see a woman who knows where she is going. She does not drift through life aimlessly, but walks with confidence, grace, and unwavering faith. Her life is a testimony that when a woman discovers her purpose and commits to it fully, there is nothing she cannot achieve. A woman blessed by God is not just defined by what she has, but by who she is. She carries divine wisdom, radiates peace and strength, overcomes trials with grace, and walks through doors that no one can shut. Her life is a testimony of favor, resilience, and purpose. She does not seek validation from the world because she knows her worth is already established by God. She moves with confidence, knowing that every challenge is shaping her, every delay is positioning her, and every step she takes is leading her closer to her destiny. If you see these signs in your life, do not ignore them. You are not ordinary, you are chosen. Walk boldly in your blessing, embrace your purpose, and never shrink to fit into places you have outgrown. You were not created to live a life of fear, doubt, or limitation. You were created to thrive, to lead, to inspire, and to fulfill a divine calling. Do not settle for anything less than the life God has designed for you. Step into your power, move with purpose, and let the world witness what it means to be a woman truly blessed by God. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm so grateful you have joined me today, and I can't wait to dive into something that has the power to change your life. There is something extraordinary about a woman who walks in divine favor. She is not just existing, she is living with purpose, carrying a presence that cannot be ignored. When a woman is favored by God, she moves differently. She speaks with authority, yet with grace. She faces storms, yet she is unshaken. She understands that favor is not just about what she has, but about who she is in God. The woman favored by God does not chase validation because she knows who she is. She is a daughter of the King, handcrafted with intention, designed for greatness. She walks with purpose, knowing that her existence is a solution to a problem on this earth. She does not shrink to fit into spaces where God has called her to stand out. She embraces her assignment with boldness, knowing that every step she takes is ordered by Him. There is a strength in her that cannot be explained. Life has tested her, but she refuses to be broken. She has been through valleys, but she never lost her vision. She has faced betrayals, but she never lost her love. She has endured losses, but she never lost her faith. She knows that when God's favor is upon her, no weapon formed against her can prosper. And faith. Oh, her faith is unshakable. She doesn't wait to see the evidence before she believes. She moves because she knows that her God never fails. Even when doors close, she lifts her hands in praise, knowing that rejection is simply redirection to something greater. She does not operate on emotions alone. She operates on conviction. This woman is not just blessed, she is a blessing. She carries a spirit that draws others to God. Her presence alone is a testimony. When she speaks, wisdom flows. When she prays, heaven moves. When she gives, she does not lack. She does not need to chase opportunities because favor attracts them to her. She is proof that when God's hand is on your life, what others labor for, you will receive effortlessly. She understands that life is not about self-promotion, but about service. She lifts others as she rises. She sees needs and meets them. She carries a heart of compassion, a spirit of generosity, and a love so deep that it mirrors the heart of Christ. And because she pours out, God continues to pour into her. And in a world full of noise, she is a woman of peace. She does not live in fear. She does not live in worry, and she does not live in doubt. She knows that her joy is not found in people, status, or material things. It is rooted in the unshakable foundation of God's love. When the world is in chaos, she remains steady because she knows that favor is not about circumstances. It is about the one who holds all things together. This is the kind of woman who changes generations. This is the kind of woman who cannot be ignored. She does not need permission to be great. God has already declared her victorious. And so she rises, she moves, she builds, she thrives. Because when you are favored by God, there is no limit to what He can do. You are not placed on this earth by accident. Every breath you take is intentional, woven into the grand design of God's plan. A woman favored by God understands that her existence carries meaning beyond daily routines and societal expectations. She does not drift through life aimlessly. She walks with purpose, fully aware that she was created to fulfill a divine assignment. Her steps are ordered, her journey is significant, and her presence is necessary. She does not compare herself to others because she knows that her calling is unique. She does not waste time seeking validation from the world when she has already been chosen by the Creator. Her confidence is not rooted in fleeting opinions, but in the unshakable truth that God has called her for something greater. She does not wait for perfect conditions to move. She walks in obedience, trusting that if God has given her a vision, He will also provide the provision. Challenges do not deter her. Obstacles are merely opportunities for God to reveal his power in her life. She does not question whether she is capable, for she knows that her strength is not her own. It is God working through her. She embraces every season with courage, understanding that even delays and detours are part of a divine setup. She does not chase after worldly success, for she knows that true fulfillment is found in alignment with God's will. She carries herself with grace and conviction, knowing that her gifts, her voice, and her influence were given to her for a reason. Every encounter, every opportunity, every challenge is a stepping stone toward her destiny. She moves forward, unwavering, because she knows that to walk in divine purpose is to walk in favor. A woman favored by God carries a strength that cannot be measured by physical ability alone. Her strength is internal, deeply rooted in her faith, and unshaken by the storms of life. She has faced trials that would have broken others, yet she stands tall, not because she has never fallen, but because she refuses to stay down. Her resilience is not the absence of struggle, but the determination to rise every time she is knocked down. She does not crumble under pressure. She grows stronger through it. She understands that adversity is not meant to destroy her, but to refine her. Pain does not weaken her. It deepens her wisdom, her endurance, and her reliance on God. She does not allow difficulties to define her, nor does she let setbacks dictate her future. She knows that every challenge carries a lesson. Every disappointment hides a blessing, and every hardship is an opportunity for growth. She does not complain about the weight she carries. She recognizes that strength is developed in the struggle. This woman does not need to prove her strength to anyone. It is evident in the way she carries herself, in the way she handles conflict with grace, in the way she remains steadfast when life is unpredictable. She is not shaken by the opinions of others, nor is she easily discouraged by failure. She understands that her resilience is a testimony of God's power working within her. She does not fight battles in her own strength, but trusts in the one who goes before her. She knows that victory is not always immediate, but it is always certain. Even in the darkest moments, she keeps moving forward, holding on to the promise that she is never alone and that her strength comes from something greater than herself. A woman favored by God does not waver in her faith, no matter the circumstances. She does not need to see the whole picture to trust that God is in control. She believes even when there is no evidence, holds on even when everything around her is falling apart, and walks forward even when the path is unclear. Her faith is not based on emotions or temporary victories, but on the unchanging nature of God. She knows that his promises are yes and amen, and she refuses to doubt his word. She does not allow fear to dictate her decisions. While others hesitate, she moves boldly, not because she has all the answers, but because she knows the one who does. She does not question whether God hears her prayers. She prays with confidence, expecting results. Even when the answers are delayed, she does not grow weary. She understands that waiting is not denial, but preparation, and she trusts that God's timing is always perfect. Her faith is not shaken by difficulties. She does not crumble when the unexpected happens. Instead, she stands firm, declaring that if God brought her to it, he will bring her through it. She has learned that faith is not just believing when things are good, but holding on even when they are not. She walks with assurance, knowing that God is working behind the scenes, even when she cannot see it. She speaks life, not doubt. She does not let negativity take root in her heart, nor does she entertain thoughts of defeat. She reminds herself daily that she is victorious, that she is covered, and that no weapon formed against her will prosper. Her faith is her foundation, and nothing, no trial, no setback, no disappointment can shake it. A woman favored by God does not live for herself alone. She understands that her life is a testimony, and everything she does carries the power to impact those around her. She moves with intention, knowing that her words, actions, and choices have the ability to inspire others to rise higher, believe greater, and pursue their God-given purpose. She does not seek to be admired, but to be a light, a reflection of God's love and wisdom in every space she enters. Her influence is not loud or forceful, yet it is undeniable. She does not demand respect. She earns it through her character, integrity, and the way she carries herself with grace. People are drawn to her not because of what she has, but because of who she is. She speaks life into others, encouraging them when they feel weak, reminding them of their worth when they have forgotten, and lifting them up when they feel like giving up. She understands that leadership is not about power, but about service. She gives without expecting anything in return, and because of this, she is continually blessed. She sees potential in others before they see it in themselves, pushing them to dream bigger and believe in the greatness within them. She does not compete with others. Instead, she helps them grow. She finds joy in seeing others succeed because she knows that true influence is not about standing above people, but walking beside them. She carries herself with wisdom and discernment, knowing that people look to her as an example. She does not take this lightly. Her life is a reflection of faith, perseverance, and divine favor. And through her example, she inspires others to pursue the best version of themselves, walking confidently in their own purpose. A woman favored by God does not chase opportunities, they find her. She carries a divine presence that opens doors no one can shut. Where others struggle and strive, she moves with grace, knowing that what is meant for her will not pass her by. She understands that favor is not about luck, but alignment. When she walks in obedience to God's plan, blessings flow effortlessly into her life. She does not have to manipulate situations or force outcomes because she trusts that God's hand is upon her. She walks into rooms she never imagined, meets people she never expected, and steps into opportunities that others only dream of. Not because she is better, but because she is chosen. She is positioned by God for greatness, and everything she touches prospers. When she applies for something, she is selected. When she seeks, she finds. When she knocks, the door is open. Even when she is not looking, favor finds her because she carries an anointing that cannot be ignored. Her life is marked by divine connections. People are drawn to her, willing to help, guide, and invest in her because they see the grace upon her life. She does not rely on human validation, yet she receives recognition in places that matter. She understands that favor is not about personal gain, but about fulfilling her assignment. And because of this, she remains humble even as she rises. Even in setbacks, she is never truly set back. What others see as a loss, she knows is a setup for something greater. Delays do not discourage her because she understands that God's favor works in His timing. She does not compete, compare, or chase after success. She simply walks in obedience, and the blessings overtake her. A woman favored by God carries a heart that overflows with love, kindness, and selflessness. She does not live only for herself, but sees the needs of others and responds with compassion. She understands that true greatness is not measured by status or possessions, but by how much she pours into the lives of those around her. She does not give to be seen. She gives because it is her nature to serve. Whether through words of encouragement, acts of kindness, or a helping hand, she consistently seeks to uplift those in need. Her compassion is not selective. She does not show kindness only to those who can return the favor. She helps the weak, speaks for the voiceless, and stands in the gap for those who have no one else. She does not wait for recognition or applause. She serves because she understands that love is an action, not just a feeling. Even when she is going through her own struggles, she does not hesitate to be a blessing to someone else. She carries a presence that makes people feel seen, valued, and appreciated. Her words bring healing, and her actions reflect the heart of God. She is not moved by selfish ambition, but by a desire to see others rise. She does not seek to take from the world, but to add to it, leaving every place better than she found it. Her generosity is not just in material things, but in time, wisdom, and encouragement. She listens when others need to be heard, prays for those who cannot pray for themselves, and gives hope where there is none. Because of this, God continues to pour into her life, blessing her abundantly so that she can keep being a blessing to others. A woman favored by God carries an unshakable peace that is not dependent on circumstances. She is not easily moved by chaos, nor does she allow the storms of life to steal her joy. Her spirit is anchored in something deeper than temporary happiness. It is rooted in divine assurance. She understands that true peace is not the absence of troubles, but the presence of God within her. No matter what is happening around her, she remains steady, knowing that her life is in His hands. She does not live in fear, worry, or anxiety because she trusts that everything is working for her good. She faces challenges with a calmness that others cannot understand, not because life is perfect, but because she knows who holds her future. She refuses to be overwhelmed by problems, choosing instead to walk in faith and rest in God's promises. She does not react to negativity with anger or bitterness, but responds with wisdom and grace. She carries herself with a quiet confidence, knowing that she is covered, protected, and guided. Her joy is not superficial. It does not fade when things go wrong. It is a deep, abiding presence that remains even in difficult seasons. She does not depend on people, achievements, or material things to define her happiness. Instead, she finds joy in purpose, in service, and in knowing she is loved by God. She radiates this joy wherever she goes, lifting the spirits of those around her. People are drawn to her because she brings peace to every situation. Her presence alone can calm a room, and her words bring comfort. She does not carry burdens of the past or stress about the future. She lives in the present, fully trusting that God's favor is upon her and that all things are working in her favor. A woman favored by God is not defined by external achievements, opinions, or circumstances. She is marked by purpose, resilience, faith, influence, favor, compassion, and an unshakable spirit of peace and joy. She does not chase after validation because she knows she is already chosen. She does not fear the future because she walks with the one who holds it. She does not shrink in adversity because she understands that every trial is created to be. Her presence commands attention, not because she seeks it, but because she carries something divine. She influences without force, leads without pride, and serves without expecting anything in return. She is a light in dark places, a source of hope to the weary, and a living testimony of God's grace. When she speaks, wisdom flows. When she moves, doors open. When she prays, heaven responds. The favor she carries is not ordinary. It is supernatural. It goes beyond human understanding, positioning her in places she never imagined and blessing her in ways she never expected. She does not compete, compare, or strive. She simply aligns with God's will, and everything she needs follows her.